we've got a fluid situation ongoing with activities of that secessionist group. We've got more updates for you as we settle and also talk about what's making headlines in the newspapers today. Joseph Akablay will be back on set. We'll talk about that. And then also we will talk about the big headlines this week as we did last week. So anything that made it for you in terms of the headlines, but what you're watching on your screens, videos, amateur videos that we're still getting from this group. Some armed men believed to be members of the Western Togolang secession group have reportedly attacked the Aveyime and Mfe police stations in the North Tong districts of the Volta region. That's actually the very latest. A group of armed men in the early hours of Friday forcibly took over both stations simultaneously, overpowered the police officers, broke into the armory and made away with all the weapons. That's the news that we're getting. And from an eyewitness, he described it as they naked the police officers on duty, took their weapons and locked them in the cells before breaking into the armory. That's according to an eyewitness. The group at Mfe, after hoisting a Western Togolang flag, joined their colleagues at the Aveyime police station, seized 2 police vehicles and injured an officer. Eyewitness accounts detailed that one of the vehicles was driven away by the armed men. These are not, stories that we can independently verify. We're relying on eyewitness accounts, and it's just a situation that is breaking, and it's very much developing. And we will be giving you updates as and when we do have. We also, get videos and pictures coming through, and when we do have it, we will share it with you. Joseph Akablay, you gave some update and background context to the situation earlier with Darrell Kwao. Just for those who are joining us for the very first time, if you just tune in and you're watching the AM show here on Joy News, and you're just learning about the situation, Joseph, help us understand it.
And so we are talking about the present day Volta region and Oti region. Parts of that were not part of Ghana before independence. We had the Gold Coast colony, and then we had the British Togoland, and we also we had the Western Togoland as well. And so these are individuals who fall within the current Volta region that were making a point. And so when Ghana, it was decided that the Gold Coast colony would become independent, they had the option of participating in a plebiscite to decide whether or not they join Ghana or not. And they voted in their majority that they want to join. Then Ghana was on the verge of attaining independence. And so that was carried out and they joined the country. Now, these are individuals who, for many years, more than 30 plus years, they've been agitating and making their point that they believe that that merger with Ghana was contrary to law and that they have the right to determine for themselves where they want to belong to. And so they don't want to be part of independent Ghana, urging the government of Ghana to declare that part of the country independent. And so that has been the request that they have been making. There have been occasions where they've held events to actually declare that portion of the country independent. Mm-hmm. They've been arrested many times. There was a point that as many as 80 people were arrested in an operation carried out by a joint military and police team. Some of them were brought to Accra. About 7 of their leaders, they were put before the courts. Mm-hmm. They were charged with treason, at least on 2 different occasions. But each time, the state discontinued the case against them. And it's interesting to point out that while the state discontinued the case, these individuals returned to the area and they kept undertaking the activity that they've been undertaking in making the point that they want independence. This time around, they took it onto virtual platforms. Their leader, one Papa V, is nicknamed Papa V, is an elderly man in his 80s. He is a retired director of education. He now took it to a virtual platform, has been doing videos and declaring the area independent. In the last couple of months, they've been quite active again, erecting billboards in some parts of the eastern region where they believe it's land that belongs to them, they say. Mm. Then again, so that billboard that they erected, it was welcoming people into the Western Togoland. Mm. That was pulled down by the security services immediately. We understand they erected it at dawn, it was pulled down. They did the same thing in parts of the Volta region as well. The security agencies went in and pulled it down. And now we have what we have on our hands. We are told that at 2 a.m. they blocked 2 major entry points into the region. So one entry point from the eastern region, another from Accra into the Volta region. and that resulted in vehicular traffic. And again, they attacked the police station per the reports we have received. We were actually trying to reach a police officer in the area to check on the security situation when the phone was answered by one of the individuals who said he was part of those who had blocked the roads and that they had actually seized 3 policemen. The regional minister, Dr. Achiba, has confirmed that information to us, telling us that they are working to rescue these 3 individuals. And so that is the information that we have gathered so far. And so the government of Ghana, as far as it stands, holds the view that this is contrary to law. It's a treasonable act, but it hasn't gone through with the prosecution to secure conviction against these individuals. And so they are individuals who do their things, they go into hiding, arrested, released, and they go back to their things again.
Do we know why the state seemed disinterested? You know, there's usually the show of carrying them to court with all the conversation. I remember the pouring of libation at some points, and then we discontinue. Is there a reason that is given?
No reason is given, and as we know, in terms of the functions of the Attorney General's office, I mean, they have the power to discontinue any matter, and the case has been made over the period that it would be appropriate if amendments are made for reasons to be given, but no reasons have been offered either in public discourse or at the level of the courts. I mean, you just go and tell the court that, I mean, we want to discontinue the case, and the court discharges them. But I mean, it's fair, and we heard from the security analyst earlier we spoke to was making a point that it's clear that it appears the state either didn't see this as a serious issue as it is now, or it opted for more or less an engagement approach with them. But clearly, it has not yielded the results that we expect it to yield, and it has gotten to this particular level. And he was again making a point about the timing being very close to election. And you know, around election period, it's very easy to take advantage of any situation. And so he was making a point that it's important that the security agencies move swiftly and bring the situation under control. Just before we came on air for the paper review, we had received again a report from the Eastern region that they've been able to dismantle the blockade that had been erected by them, and so now vehicles were flowing. We are yet to get an update as to the situation in Volta region, as to whether or not they've been able to clear that one as well to enable them move.
And as we're talking about this line, because you know this is the angle as we've received from our, you know, the eyewitnesses that we've spoken to, and also the Volta regional minister who spoke on our sister station, Joy FM, who also indicated, by the way, that there are travelers who are stranded but assured, as at the time that he spoke on Joy FM, which was about 6 a.m., that the situation would be under control in the next 2 hours. So say around 8 a.m., this will all be sorted out. But the other angle of this conversation is also a post by the NDC's Eduji Kujo Tamaklo. Joseph, I know that you've read this, who's also bringing another view to this situation. So, for instance, he said in this post that don't be fooled, this so-called blocking of roads in the Volta is the work of the current national security architecture to justify the deployment of the military by Nanado and his hype men during the election to intimidate voters in the Volta and Oti regions. We are smarter than them. So whilst we focus on this, on the angle that we've been giving you update on, this is another one coming in that perhaps you might also want to focus on. But of course, independently, we will be verifying the situation. For now, though, we'll continue to give you updates from eyewitnesses and our reporters and their sources from the 2 regions, and we'll be giving them to you when we get it and be sharing the pictures as well with you. And just as we spoke to the Volta regional minister, we'll be speaking to officials when we do get them and share what they say also with you. This is definitely the place to be to get all the updates on this developing story. But if you're traveling to the Volta region, to the Oti region, and you can postpone the trip, it will be very good, because we are told that there's heavy traffic. So you may just be frustrated sitting in traffic. If you can postpone that trip, it will be very good for you. Quickly, we haven't told you what's in the newspapers, so we will just run through the headlines, try and do basically tell you what's in the newspapers, and then we will be focusing on the top headlines this week. So you can join us with your thoughts, particularly if you're also in the traffic situation. I mean, it was such a headache for me today, over an hour, crossing a stretch that takes me less than 10 minutes to do. So you are in Pokwasio. It's just that you are from right from Amasaman, as you enter Pokuase to the Pokuase junction, imagine spending an hour doing that.
What was responsible for the traffic?
So I later saw on my residence platform that a truck, there was a truck that had either turned over or something like that, but I didn't see the truck, even though I was in the traffic. But I saw a towing vehicle, so perhaps that truck that caused this, maybe was involved in an accident, whatever, was towed, but I didn't see it. All I know is that the traffic was heavy and throughout the entire stretch. And of course, there are people who are also indisciplined, as for the trotro drivers and some of the four-wheel cars who think they are better than us, who just want to crush you. So there's a lot of indiscipline. The traffic is heavy. Usually, if you leave home at 6, you'll be in traffic. But most of us would leave earlier than that. Maybe not most of us, but those who have work that we have to go to work way earlier, we would leave early. And to think that 4:45, you're sitting in thick traffic, that was incredible for me this morning. So you can also avoid that stretch. We will, obviously, because I was sitting in that traffic and I didn't have enough daylight, I couldn't take pictures to show you. But we've tried to do the live Google map this morning. We'll open it up and then see. So if you see the red thick lines, that's like heavy traffic. The yellow says it's moving slowly, and then the blue says it is free, as in the movement is free. But we see a lot of thick red, and then we will share the names of those communities with you. When I was crossing, there was no traffic in Amasaman, but I can promise you that there is traffic in Amasaman because it was static from Pokuase, and that meant that all those who were coming from Kutunsi, and Kutunsi is where I live, those who are coming from Nsawam all experienced some form of traffic this morning. So you've got to be very patient if you're using that stretch this morning. Or, listen, it's a Friday, work from home if you can. Or do market tomorrow, if that's your mission. If you're just coming to walk around in Accra, please postpone it. Yeah. Okay. Not sure I can see the names of the communities. Can we just open it up a bit more so we can share? And this is from exactly where? This is a map from Amasaman to Pokuase, correct, my director? Okay. All right. So, and you would think it's because of the construction. Obviously, because of the construction, the road. Okay, we'll come. I'm finding it a bit difficult to see. Okay, I'm finding it difficult to see because of the font size, so that I can share the names of the particular communities, those landmarks with you. But I can tell you that there's a lot of traffic on the Pokuase, the Amasaman Pokuase Road this morning. And if you can avoid it, if you've got an alternative, usually the alternative will be to go through Kwabenya. But around this time when it's 7:37, Kwabenya won't be looking good as well. So the thing that you have to do though is to use your Google map before you set off. It can give you some ideas so you can avoid the traffic this morning. All right. Well, we will speak to somebody who is experiencing the traffic this morning. So, you know, he can help us appreciate. So this is not on the stretch that I'm telling you about, which is the Pokuase stretch, but this is the secessionist, the developing story in the Volta OT region. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning to you, sir.
Yes.
Oh, okay, Sashi, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Joy News. Where exactly are you, and what can you tell us in terms of what you're experiencing?
Okay, right now we have moved from Japan, heading towards Accra now, like 5 minutes ago. But before then, we were stuck at Japan from 2 a.m. till this morning.
Stuck from Japan?
Yes, we were stuck there because the road had been blocked.
Okay.
according to those.
Did you see those who blocked the road? Did you see those who blocked the road? Hello?
And people, they are celebrating Independence Day, so we can't move from where they are to Accra, and Accra people can come into the border.
Okay,
That is
madam.
why they stop.
Madam, we missed parts of what you said. So can you start for us again? First of all, I asked if you saw the people who blocked the road.
Oh yes, I saw them, but I can't recognize any since I'm a stranger there.
Okay, but what were they wearing? Anything you remember about what they were wearing? Anything you remember about what they were wearing? What were they wearing and what were they saying?
Oh, they were wearing like normal bra and top with danger tied on their head, their faces, their arms. They are holding sticks, they are holding machetes, some are holding knives, some are holding axe. You know?
Okay.
A whole lot. Yeah, some are holding catapult.
Did they explain why they had blocked the road to you, travelers?
Yes, they said today they are celebrating Independence Day. They are independent, so no car should move from where we are to Accra, and no car should come from Accra to the border region.
Okay, but eventually you managed to cross. So how did you negotiate that with them?
We didn't negotiate. The soldiers came to scare them, but some were also brave, so they were fighting. Like it became gunshots between them and the police. They shoot. The police also shoot. They shot some few people's legs that I have seen. They've taken mobile phones from people. They've beaten people. They've arrested them. And the fire service also came around to point the fire.
Okay.
So now police, one of the police cars just escort us so we can, manage ourselves through, because the traffic is so huge here that, because people have been stuck since 1 a.m.
Okay. So where have you gotten to now? Now you've managed to cross, so there's no roadblock?
So we are at Kpone at this moment.
Okay.
Kpone.
Okay. But could you manage to see how many of you were trapped there?
Oh, we were more than 500. 500. I can't even count because the cars were lost. More than 200 cars. More than 200. Even after 3 a.m., the cars were more than 200. Then up to 5, they were more than 1,000. There is no space. You can't even, get down and walk anywhere.
Okay. So this group of men, this group of men, did they threaten you in any way? Did they take anything away from you?
They threatened us, yes, they did.
Okay, but did they take anything away from you? What were they saying in terms of the threats?
If we dare come close, one person told me if I dare touch him, I will vanish. Yes, I will vanish from the surface of this land. That's what he told me personally when I was trying to record.
Okay, so you were trying to talk to them?
Yes, because the way they were misbehaving, we are innocent. If you are having your independence, we are not aware. No announcement was made. So we were begging them, but no, they won't listen. They said if we dare cross, something will happen. So I asked the driver to calm down, and we all went back to the car.
Oh, so you got down from the vehicle to try and reason with them?
I got down, yes. Immediately I got down.
But these were men with, you mentioned they had machetes and sticks.
Yes.
You were not afraid of them? You were not afraid of them?
You know that the whole place was dark. Around 2 a.m. it was dark. You can only see the flame of fire. So I went there politely though. I said, oh, my brother, what is going on? So he said, please don't touch me. And I should stop speaking tree. If I speak tree again, he will slap me. So I changed and I was speaking English.
And this person still wouldn't reason with you. But so at that time, how many men could you count? The people who had blocked the road, set the fire?
The next way. So It keeps breaking.
Okay, so can you hear me? I was asking of the number of men. How many were they? Hello? Okay, she did indicate that because of where she is, there's some network challenges, obviously breaks in that network. But we'll leave it here. I guess we appreciate in terms of her accounts, the eyewitness accounts, as she used that stretch of road that was also blocked, but she indicates that the traffic is now flowing because the military stepped in. We also have an eyewitness who just crossed the Pokwase stretch, who's also joining us on phone to share an experience with us. Hello, good morning to you if you can hear me. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, I can hear you.
Okay, yes, sir. So you are coming from where exactly?
Okay, I'm coming from around Fise. I don't know if you know Fise.
Yes.
Ukwasi Fise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I set from home around 6:30, and then joining the highway has been very difficult. The traffic is so heavy. But gradually, there were policemen around who were helping in directing the traffic so that the traffic would flow.
Okay.
But it was so heavy, and as I'm speaking, I'm now at Chimota Old Station. So from the Fise stretch, I believe the traffic starts from Amasama, but since I'm not coming from Amasama, I can't tell more about what is happening from Amasama. So from the Fise stretch down to Ofanko barrier, and then from Ofanko, it flows up to Achimota Mall, and there's some few traffic, and then from the traffic light at New Plant, the traffic flows a little bit faster as compared to what we saw in Pokwase.
Okay. Is this unusual? Because you sound like you use the road, you're a regular user of the road, and you set off around 6 every day. Is this normal?
It sometimes happens. It's become something of normal to us because of the construction work going on, and then few trucks and vehicles that break down along the road. Okay. So you may be on a dual carriage, and when you get in front, it becomes a single lane. So all cars have to maneuver and come to the single lane, and this also creates traffic. Okay. And the construction work along the road also is a factor to the traffic. Okay.
So I came through from Amasaman, from Kutunse to Amasaman through Pokwase around 4:45. And usually around that time, there is no traffic. I mean, it's just free flowing. But there was heavy traffic today. Somebody told me that there was a truck, a truck turned on the road. Did you see any vehicle that was stuck, reason for the traffic?
Okay, when I got to Pokwase Junction, there's a road that leads to Awoshi. There was, I think, 2, not trucks, but pickups that were parked by the roadside, I think 40. And before you get to ACP Junction, I think there used to be a U-turn, but I saw policemen blocking that U-turn so that the traffic would flow. So, people from ACP would like to do all sorts of U-turn along the road. So I saw policemen blocking those kind of U-turns so that they could use the stretch to Pokwase and then take the U-turn. Okay. So that helped the flow of the traffic a little bit. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been where I am at the moment.
Well, you're still on the road, so we'll leave you so you can concentrate. Have a good day, and thank you for sharing. Okay, that's an eyewitness also sharing his experience with us as he used the Pokwase stretch of the road today. So some say a truck has fallen. I didn't see a fallen truck though. And the construction is something that's been ongoing. There's nothing unusual in terms of them actively working that you would think is causing the traffic, particularly at the time that I used it. But there's still very heavy traffic on the road. And so you've been warned. Please be cautious as you use the road. Joseph, you've been very quiet. Tell us what's making the headlines in the papers.
So let's start from the front page of the Daily Guide. It says 1 killed in a Falco shooting, and cocoa price up 28%, 10,560 cedis per ton. That's a photograph of the president. Rollins' mother is dead, and Jean Mensah's photographs also here talking about the EC extending the voter exhibition exercise. The back page has a Chelsea keeper under pressure due to Mendy arrival. Holy Trinity Spalke, they are hosting a health farm there. And Suarez wept joins Atleti and Kotoko settle ex-physio outstanding debt. The page 3 has the photograph of a cartoon. I'm sure the producer can help pull that up.
This is the famous page 3 in Akosia.
Yeah, Akosia. Takwa Show Boys. Takwa Show Boys. And that's a photograph of, I'm not sure I know them. I don't think I know them. Do you know who these are?
But you're usually, like, I think you've got better eyes. You can identify them. You think I can?
It would have been easy
Any
to...
clues?
It would have been
Is
easy
there
to...
a chewing, biting of a hand? Do you see blood?
Yes, I see blood.
Okay.
I also see swollen right eye.
Okay.
The left eye is also swollen.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a a cartoon of two men trading punches. Yeah.
Not two kids, two men.
Two men trading punches. And what we have here, they've actually taken off their shirts. So more or less like topless. And the one on the left, I have to show this to the camera. We have it here.
Let's see, Takwa Show Boys.
Yeah,
you know, we'll be reminding ourselves of the biggest headlines this week, and I think I forgot, but this is one of the big news, the big headlines. Okay, there, that's it. You say you can't identify them.
No, they don't look like anyone I know.
But there's a clue.
Takwa Show Boys, yeah.
Still
that's what they're saying. Yeah, so the gentleman on the right just landed a hefty right punch, causing the gentleman on the left to move towards the back. And I mean, obviously, the one on the left has also seized that hand that just landed the punch. And so...
But I don't see the hand in the mouth.
Yeah, it's just left that side. I think there's a bit of, you know, there's some drops that look like blood.
Blood, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so...
But they say usually after the blows, you can't identify them. I think that's why we're having challenges identifying them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But that's what Akosia has for us. So that is it for the Daily Guide this morning. We can quickly do the front pages of the other papers. The Daily Statesman says, good news for cocoa farmers. Government increases producer price by 28%. Mahama prepares grounds for 2020 defeat, threatens rejection of results. And the front page of the Republic
does it say threatens rejection of results?
Yes, that is what the Daily Statesman is reporting. But
there was a condition because we all listened.
Yes, the condition was that he's not going to accept the results of any flawed election.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it should be put in context.
In that context.
Yes.
The Republic says Mahama blows hot air, sets stage for rejection of 2020 results, as we've just explained, if it's flawed. Chief shot dead at Kaswa Falco. Rawlings loses mother also on page 3. And for those who are wondering how old she was, she's quite old, in the 80s, I understand. The story is on.
I think more than 100. Exactly, yes. More than 100.
Mother of former President Jerry John Rawlings, Victoria Boti, who recently celebrated her 101st birthday, has died. And so the story says she had been unwell for some time now. She was one time head of the catering department at the presidency during the Rawlings' era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else to cook for you, that mommy?
Yeah, she lived a good life, lived beyond 100.
Yeah. The Ghanaian Times says EC considers second round of voter registration. NDC suspends campaign for 3 days nationwide to monitor voters registration exhibition exercise. And political parties agree to give EC space to correct anomalies in voters register. And government fixes new cocoa prices as president announces increase of 20% per 64 kilogram bag of cocoa. The back page has a story about 6.6 million CD Akontombra rice factory ready. At the back page, the crime page, Mamavi's favorite, has a story about 7 jailed, 175 years for robbery.
Divide 175 by 7.
Okay, while Eko works the math, 7 persons who robbed a Supreme Court judge and a banker. Oh, that's interesting.
They robbed the Supreme Court
judge and a banker of their vehicles, a laptop, and other personal effects at gunpoint have been sentenced to a total of 175 years jail term by an Accra Circuit Court.
That's 25 years.
25 years, okay. Nene Kojo Tete, aka Chairman Obed, who was not present while judgment was being pronounced, has been sentenced to 25 years in absentia. Warbeck, upon an accomplice who escaped from lawful custody and still at large, was also sentenced 25 years in absentia. The rest of the accused persons who witnessed the trial, namely Nana Kwabna Aka, Isaac Ajiman, aka Batman, Kweku Buenin, Frederick Kwesi Boatin, and Kofi Debra, were jailed 25 years each by the court after a full trial. This was the court presided over by Justice Abuaje Tando. So they were variously charged with conspiracy to commit crime, to which robbery, 3 counts of robbery and having possession of stolen property. And so the prosecuting inspector narrated that the complainants in the case are Supreme Court Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokuno, who was then a Court of Appeal judge, and Mr. Anthony Kodua Bediako, a banker. He goes on to say that on December 8, 2016, at about 8:30 p.m., the judge was on board her official vehicle, a Toyota Fortuner, and was returning from a night church service. Upon reaching a residence at Bachona Spintex area, she was attacked by a gang of armed robbers numbering more than 6, who attacked and robbed her of a vehicle, 1 Apple MacBook laptop valued at 1,300 cedis, and an iPhone valued at 600 cedis, and a cash of 900 cedis and $50 US. That's interesting. And her Bibles, her 3 Bibles too.
They took all that.
Her 3 Bibles, they stole the 3 Bibles too, and they bolted. The robbers, not satisfied, further drove Justice Tokonu's vehicle to the house of Mr. Bediako at Anya, where they further attacked him at gunpoint and robbed him of his Hyundai Santa Fe sports wagon. The vehicle number is provided an amount of 350 cedis. Prosecution said investigations led to the arrest of the accused persons who were charged with the offenses. And so they robbed the Supreme Court judge. They now used the Supreme Court judge's vehicle to head to another point where they took a Hyundai Santa Fe.
These guys are daring.
It was quite a good robbery day for them, you would say, and that's how come they've got 175 years collectively. Some of them are on the run. The police are still looking for them, but they pleaded not guilty. The trial went to the full hall, and they've been found guilty.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes, so we will tell you the biggest news headlines this week. I think we started off this week. Monday was a holiday. It was the police. They made the biggest headlines for us with the, cautioning their men to watch the rounds. You remember that? The Greater Regional Police Commander? Let's hear him.
And control yourselves. We all need energy to work during the elections. I therefore advise all of you to eat well. Reduce your sexual rounds. For you to get energy to work well before, during, and after 2020 elections.
This is my man, not just for the week, but I guess for the rest of the year. The commander there asking his men to reduce their sexual round. They started doing it, by the way, and we told ourselves on the show this week that we'll be monitoring. So if you have a neighbor who is a policeman or a woman, just kindly, in a very nice way, remind them that their commander says they should watch their sexual rounds and reduce it and eat well so they can do a proper policing job in the upcoming elections. Did I say it well?
Yes, you did. They need energy before, during, and after the election, as the commander puts it.
That's right. But that same day, remember, there was also an action, a strike that was called by the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, backed by physician assistants and registered anesthetists. That also went for 3 days. It was on day 3 that, well, actually, the Friday before the Monday when the action started, the National Labour Commission had gone to court to get them to stop the action. But they said they had not been duly served. So they continue Monday. They started on Monday, Tuesday, and then the National Labour Commission went to court again to get the court to get them to compulsorily come to the table to begin the negotiation. So 2 actions the National Labour Commission took that got them to call off their strike finally. Here's President of the Ghana National Registered Association speaking.
The Labor Commission. So, as law-abiding citizens, as we've been talking about all the time, they have
Madam, that is not Madam Perpetual's voice. We apologize to you. But, you know, that was what we actually wanted to play was her calling of the action and saying that if they will go back to the table, all right, but if things still don't look well and the posturing is not good and they don't get any serious commitment, you know, they will think about it again. I think, Joseph, anything else that you remember from this week? I think the Electoral Commission's voter exhibition exercise also, it came up strongly on Monday and traveled throughout the week to yesterday when the former president, John Dramani Mahama, addressed the major news conference. The reports are that hundreds and even in some cases thousands of voters could not simply find their names on the register. The EC has since extended the exhibition exercise by 2 days. The NDC says it's not enough. Have you checked your details? No, I haven't. I used the 1422 code to check. Yes, worked. Okay, yes, I'm just going to do that, but I haven't checked yet. But I intend to go over to the polling station, my polling station tomorrow, to check and just be sure, because I mean, I don't want to just rely on a text, and especially when with a text you are not able to verify your image, and you know that there are people who go to the place and they are told that their number has been given to someone else. And we heard the former president say that it happened to the NDC's running mate, Professor Nana Jino-Poku. Why don't we just listen to him on that? This was just yesterday.
In the central region, glaring cases of duplication of card numbers were also recorded in 14 centers in the Komenda, Edina, Eguafo, Ebrem constituency. And one of such cases involved my running mate, Professor Nana Jino-Poku. She went to her center to check her name. She sent somebody to check her name, and they said she had to come herself because her number was duplicated. Somebody else had the same number as her. And so she had to come and collect the card and take it to the district office to go and sort it out. And so she had to drive from Komenda to Elmina, where the district office of the EC is. And at Elmina, they took the old card from her, destroyed it, and replaced it with a new card. I mean, being who she is, she could make the trip to Elmina. What of the poor farmer in the village who comes and finds out that their card is not valid? Are they going to travel to Elmina to replace the card?
So that's the former president and the flag bearer of the NDC talking about the integrity challenges of the electoral process. When he first raised it, though, the Electoral Commission came back to say that what we're experiencing, what Joseph Akable mentioned, what the former president talked about in terms of his running mate, the situation is actually normal. Reason for the ongoing exercise to correct those anomalies. It was also at this press conference that he said, which was actually, he stressed on it because this won't be the first time that he said that his party would not accept the result of a flawed election. So for us, these are some of the biggest news stories this week. For us home here at the Multimedia Group, though, and I'm sure that you've seen us rocking this cloth. Kpone Atimpoku came through with his. There was also Daryl, now Joseph Akable, as you see on the screen, and then myself. You would see all our colleagues who appear on television today and any social media platform also rocking theirs. That's because you know we're 25 years this year, but this is our formal company cloth that we have unveiled to coincide with our 25 years anniversary. And the girls can't have enough of you, Joseph Akable. Somebody said you look really good.
Yeah. And, it's not just the girls, but then as Kojo, you know, our colleague also is watching. You know, I have something.
You're using Kojo to balance.
What I have. Yeah, my designer.
What is that, by the way?
Yeah, I would ask my designer afterwards. But, I guess I have to put my hands there when I'm feeling cold and bring it out. But it's an amazing cloth. I mean, Joy FM at 25 years.
Yes.
It's great. I mean, if you're a human being and you've been able to take care of someone up to the age of 25 years, it's not easy. And you can imagine for a business to start from the scratch to get to this level. I mean, and it's not possible without our amazing listeners who have now joined us on TV. This is how big the business has become by God's grace, and we intend to do better going forward in many years to come. How old were you 25 years ago?
When we did the math, I was 12. Joseph was 1 in 1995. Yeah.
I'm just a year older than Joy FM. Yeah.
Excuse me? It's not the same, you're wearing diapers.